Hi, Vijay.
Hi, are you able to hear me? I think I'm able to
Yeah,
hear you. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Uh, we all can be seen on YouTube now. I
Yeah.
have logged in through another instrument also. I've logged in through my iPad. All thanks to Matthew, sir, who has given all these tips. So we all are live. So, Lena, you can start.
Yeah. Good evening. It's both an honor and a privilege to welcome our esteemed guests, Dr. V. Saraswati, Sri G. Balasubramanian, Srimati Alka Rai, Srimati Neelima Sharma, Dr. Sita Lakshmi Vishwanath, Srimati Vijay Lakshmi Sundararajan, and Sri Thomas Matthew to launch Success Mantra's latest initiative, Teacher Magi. A warm welcome also to all our guests and well-wishers who have joined us on this occasion. Let me now tell you about Success Mantra, the company. We all need to be inspired to do something out of the ordinary. Success Mantra owes its existence to the seed of entrepreneurship sown in my head by my father, Sri P.K. Kaimal, whose was a classic rags to riches story. It was during my postgraduate study where I had the good fortune of meeting Dr. Saraswati, who went on to become my doctoral supervisor. She retired as Professor of Linguistics, University of Madras. Saras ma'am changed the course of my life in more ways than one and is the reason Teacher Magi is being launched today. She is the most inspiring teacher I have ever known. Success Mantra gained credibility as a company on account of its 13-year stint at IIT Madras, where it was entrusted the responsibility to teach English to some of the brightest students in India. For that opportunity, I am truly indebted to Professor Shirish Chowdhury, retired head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Madras. Now about Sudha Ravi. Sudha has been with Success Mantra for over a decade. Her commitment and dedication to teacher empowerment is truly remarkable. Her continuous professional development programs at schools all over India are much sought after. And so, with the timely support and help of marketing consultant Vijay Srinivasan, we consolidated the program and today we launched Teacher Magi with the hope to bring back the magic into the classroom with empowered and enlightened teachers. Let me conclude with a quote from William Arthur Ward, or rather a quote by William Arthur Ward. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. Welcome, one and all. Over to you, Sudha.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you for introducing Success Mantra to all our panelists. And I thank all the panelists, all very esteemed people who have taken their time out. The moment I called all these people, they all simply just said yes and said, send us a mail, send us the date, and send us the time, and we'll be there. So thank you all for being there. And as I had, mentioned in the poster, the topic for today that we are going to, be asking these esteemed guests to talk about is from teacher to being a proactive teacher. So that being the topic of the day, the first speaker is Vijay Lakshmi Sundararajan. Now, if I start, telling you people about each of the panelists here, that itself will take an hour, but I will keep it brief. Vijayalakshmi Sundararajan is the principal of Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Virgambakam, Chennai. I believe that she is a person with a very holistic vision. I have known her for 7 to 8 years now, and each time I meet her, I see a very calm, collected individual who is handling students, teachers, and the staff at school. I have had the privilege of visiting the school and being with her, and she believes in leading from the front. She's a trainer herself, a CBSE master trainer, and we have had the honor of training teachers of Chinmaya Vidyalaya, thanks to Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi. And almost 8 schools of Chinmaya Vidyalaya were under the umbrella of Success Mantra for 40-hour program, which was delivered by Sita Lakshmi and myself. So thank you, Vijay Lakshmi, for reposing your faith in us. And that is what motivated us to start this Teacher Magi. And so I would like you to share with the audience, something that I've been thinking about all the time. We generally find teachers working very hard and they are actively learning the ropes of technology and upgrading themselves now to NEP standards and NEP requirements. As a principal of a leading school, what are your observations? Your thoughts, Mrs. Vijay?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Sudha. Very, very glad that your dream has come true. My special congratulations to Leena and Sudha for making this website launch possible today. It's been your dream for many years. I know that very well. I'm very, very happy that I'm part of the launch function today. And it really gives me immense pleasure to be sharing the podium with Dr. Balasubramaniam sir, GB, very fondly called as GB sir. And we've always looked at you from a distance. But today I'm sharing the podium with you. That's a great honor. Very, very glad and very happy to be part of this program. Yeah, coming to the question, yes, it's been a very challenging period of time for teachers. But at the same time, I would say, as I have observed and as I have understood from the teachers, they have enjoyed this as a learning experience. A learning of a different kind has happened to them. Professionally, they have developed a lot during this pandemic, thanks to the online classes. Yeah, initially to begin with, it was a big challenge to switch from the physical classroom to suddenly to online mode was a big challenge because they were interacting with all the time. This was just happened overnight. There was no time available for the teachers even to think to digest the whole entire situation. But at the same time, I must say I'm very confident also to say that it's only the teachers who have jumped into the taken a plunge so very comfortably without any problems. I remember our school, we started our online classes, if I remember correct, March 27th. That was just immediately after the pandemic. The closure of schools were announced. I still remember the date, March 27th, we started the first online classes. Absolutely no training for any one of us. We've never even heard of the term Zoom or Google Meet. Everything was Greek and Latin to us. And but somehow all of us learn. And one important fallout of this whole exercise is the collaboration that happened among the teachers. It's all hand-holding each other. It's not a junior teacher teaching senior or senior teaching a junior, but then it was only hand-holding each other. Whatever one teacher found out, they shared it with the other teachers. That's how the collaborative learning happened. And every day, even today, I must say that Zoom is coming out with a lot of facilities, add-ons, and Teams is coming with so many new features. And every day the teachers are never even ever tired of exploring all these things. And every day they are innovating, creating, and only mantra for them is to how to engage the students in the classroom. Student engagement is the biggest objective, I would say, for the teachers. And I must say hats off to all the teachers. I offer a big salute on this day of 75th Independence Day to the teaching fraternity for the way they have turned everything into a positive atmosphere. I don't think any other profession has taken, adapted so well to the situation. And the feedback from the parents have been very encouraging. Though they also have their own difficulties, because the resources available are not equal to everybody. Connectivity issues and device issues, so many things are there. But in spite of it, I'm very, very happy that parents come back and acknowledge the hard work taken by put forth by the teachers, and they are very, very appreciative of the efforts taken by them. So I'm very, very happy. This has turned out to be a big learning experience. And I also must say here, just before the pandemic, it would be always the teachers who would be pulled up and said that they are not aware of technology, they are not adaptive to technology. That was the biggest complaint against the teaching fraternity, but not anymore. So I must really say, teachers have taken this opportunity to develop themselves also professionally.
So you feel that they have made that leap or jump from being an active teacher to a proactive teacher.
Absolutely, absolutely, no doubts about it. Every teacher, I not only my school, I'm not talking only about my school. I do conduct sessions for other teachers, other schools, other forums. So I'm able to see that everybody is interested, everybody is looking forward to the training sessions. Whenever a training session is announced, I can see the overwhelming response of the teachers. They want to learn, they want to adapt to technology, they want to learn, and this is given a lot of time for them to learn about more other things also. It's an opportunity. Virtual platform is a big opportunity for them to learn and develop. So they are making the best use of the time available.
Thank you, Vijay Lakshmi ma'am. Now we have, as the second speaker on this panel, we have Matthews K. Thomas. So I accidentally met Mr. Matthews. I was listening to him on a All India Educators Forum platform, and he was having a similar panel discussion in 2020 on NEP. And as a listener, somewhere something kind of clicked, and I wanted to know who this gentleman is. And I found that out. I called him, and he was very prompt in telling me what it is all about. And then I came to know about the program that he runs, because I always felt that what was the gap was technology. And that is how my journey with Mr. Thomas began. But before that, he's a very, very passionate maths teacher with the Don Bosco School, Delhi. And I know he's a very good teacher because I have had the chance to meet online some of his ex-students. So when an ex-student talks about a teacher, I think that is the stamp of approval for a teacher. So welcome, Matthew, sir, and thank you for being there. I believe that whoever comes into your life comes with a reason, and there is a purpose. So thank you, Mr. Matthew. And as founder of All India Educators Forum, which you started in 2018, do you think there are more willing teachers now than ever before who participate in training sessions, webinars, etc.? And what do you think are the triggers? Is it the NEP? Is it the pandemic? Or is it just the urge, the need to learn and upgrade themselves? Your floor, Mr. Matthew.
Thank you, Sudha ma'am, for inviting me, first of all. And I'm able to share with this stage, this platform with distinguished personalities, as you mentioned in the first, stalwarts in their own right, who have made a mark in education. So it's really a privilege to that you have invited me. I am honored. And just a brief introduction about what I do and how, as ma'am said, that are there more willing learners right now? So they say journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And it all started in 2018. I started a small WhatsApp group. People used to ask me so many questions, like CBSE used to put in so many notifications. Bala sir was at the supreme in CBSE, so he knows. Every time there are CBSE notifications, there is a confusion. There is a discussion among teachers, what to do, how to do. And there were lots of people who used to call me up and said, what to do, how to go about this. And at that point of time is when I started a small WhatsApp group with 30 of people who used to constantly ask me about this. And we started in Delhi something called the Delhi Teachers Forum in 2018, where we used to meet and we used to discuss things and how to make our classes interactive, how to use technology and so on. But unfortunately, everything came to a standstill in 2020 because of the pandemic, and we were not able to meet. And at the same time, there was a lot of demand from educators across India that they would also like to participate in our programs. And that was the birth of the All India Educators Forum, AIEF, as we call it. And I'm glad that in this short period of time, which we started as 30. I didn't know how it became 300, how it became 3,000. Right now, I'm proudly saying that we have got about 30,000 members across India, and also from CBSE schools in Africa, and all our CBSE schools in the Gulf, Kuwait and Dubai, and you name it, all this. So all the educators are with us, wanting to learn. So that's a very good question, Sudha ma'am, that are there more willing learners? I think there are more than willing learners, because the need of the hour is to master technology. It's somehow, as you said, the NEP 2020 with its great changes, visionary changes that we are looking forward in NEP 2020 has brought about the need for educators to learn or master technology. So while we are moving from this physical classroom to the virtual classroom, we never knew what is all the Zoom and Teams and all these things 2 years back. We were very happy, relaxed on our in our classrooms, doing what regularly we've been doing, probably with small minor changes. But then the situation changed. We were pushed into a situation where we had to adapt, or we were nothing. We were on ground zero. So all our experience of 20 years, 25 years was nothing at that point of time. And there was no choice but to learn or to adapt to the new technology. So I started this All India Educators Forum because I felt that there were a lot of people like Sudha ma'am, Malka ma'am, they're all members of AIF, who had a lot of knowledge, but at the same time, they wanted a platform to share that knowledge. So I created this platform so that all our educators could benefit from their experience. And that's what we do. We conduct webinars, I think about 20 to 25 webinars a month. And most of them are jam-packed, and we get a lot of appreciation. And whatever is the topic, experiential learning, happiness in classroom, joyful learning, subject-based, competency-based education. And right now, the CBSE has brought about multiple choice questions. So how to design questions, how do we attempt those questions? So we have on multiple things, we keep taking polls on what to be doing. We also have a mentorship program in which we train people to use this technology, because there are great educators in our country, but some of them are weak in technology, because all of us were weak and we all have to learn. And we are providing training to anyone who wishes to become a resource person on the online platform. So it has been a great journey. 2-3 years, God has been very kind, and people like Sudha ma'am, Malka ma'am, and all have been very supportive. And they have done a lot of programs for our educators, and they have been enriched by their experience. So the NEP itself is stressing so much on technology. Just 2 hours back, I was part of a launch of the Google Educators Group in Calcutta. Today was the launch program. And there also, what I really felt was that even big groups like Google and Microsoft are contributing to the growth of education. That's great. So we have to work in collaboration with these giants. You know that Google is one of the greatest search engines, and they're going to support educators with so many tools, technological tools. That's amazing. So the relation between educational and technology is bi-directional. So we cannot say that I have a plethora of notes with me and I'm going to consult only this now. I'm not going to go into technology. That time is over. It's a do or die situation where we have to take the leap. And technology is going to impact education in a big way when the NEP is actually going to come in our schools. The reason being, there is so much of talk about artificial intelligence. There is so much about virtual learning. We are using smart boards. Coding is going to be introduced in schools, which is amazing, because till now, coding was only part of probably college level, or people had to do it privately. Now, when you're introducing at the middle school, I think that's amazing. We are going to create innovators in the coming times. The CBSE has, in the NEP document, we also find mention of the National Education Technology Forum that is going to be created. Amazing. Which is going to be created for free exchange of ideas on the use of technology and to enhance the learning, assessments, planning, and administration. So that's a body which will be created to monitor all this, how it's going to be implemented, and so on. So to remain relevant in our fast-changing field of education technology, I think that is the need of the hour. You know that e-learning content so many e-learning content has been posted on the Diksha portal, on the Swayam portal. I think so many educators have contributed. Earlier, what used to happen, whatever we had, the knowledge we used to share probably with our school teachers. But now it's universal. Anybody can have access to that in 30 seconds or 1 minute. You are having amazing content there and you can use that. So NEP 2020 is recognizing the importance of technology. And I think as educators, we need to leverage that. We need to be effective and efficient online educators. And I think resource persons like you all are doing all small things to bring in this innovation, to create awareness about these programs and so on. So
thank you,
yeah,
Mr.
thank you, ma'am.
Matthews. I fully agree, and each time that I come on to your portal, we come on to the All India Education Forum platform, we see the rush and we see the synergy that the platform actually brings, for the entire teaching community, and the way people are getting involved in creating of content also and all of that. So thank you, Mr. Matthew.
Thank you, ma'am.
And now we have with us Dr. Sita Lakshmi Vishwanath. So again here, kind of, so much that I have, and I have made some notes, but I don't know. I kept on writing. And
just
I
introduce me as a teacher who lost
children. I know, Sita. I know. A passionate teacher trainer, and who started her career. Many don't know, but I know she started as a teacher at Shanti Niketan, Kolkata. So that itself, will give all of us an idea about the roots that she has. And then, of course, in Chennai, she has worked in some of the leading schools. She was the principal of Amrita Vidyalaya when I had the fortune of meeting her. And after that, it has been a wonderful journey knowing her. And now she is the founder principal of Amrita International School, Bangalore. And she's with us here from Bangalore. So thank you for joining us, Sita and Sita Lakshmi. And thank you for being there in our lives. So Sita, we all know teachers were always learning, right? And taking initiatives to better themselves with each passing day. So do you think, the pandemic has accelerated this process? If pandemic hadn't happened, do you think it wouldn't have been this level of acceleration? What are your thoughts?
Yes. My pranams to everybody here. That is our school culture, so I start with it. Yes. Pandemic has exposed us to so much of technology. As the speakers have been pointing out, none of us thought that we were going to, share screens and, break out rooms and send homework and questions and other things on Google Classroom. We never even could imagine that learning could happen unless we met the children in class. Yes, it was a jolt, but all over the world, it's not only in India, everywhere, teachers have risen to the occasion. NEP came at a time when there was a lot of awareness among educationists, among teachers, among schools, that we have to change our methodologies in the classroom. Every teacher I have found in my experience wants to excel. There's no teacher who says that I don't want to be recognized as a good teacher in class. The moment she enters the class, she wants to be recognized as a good teacher by all the students, by the organization. But then the methodology is not known to many. Most have believed that if I keep talking a lot, explaining a lot, I become a good teacher. Even today, I find some teachers. Then I've got to tell them, Okay, you talk and talk, but how do you make the children think? Unless we make the children learn to think, real learning is not going to happen, because this listening is going to stay with them for some time. NEP actually created that awareness that we have to somehow make children, learn other skills than rote learning. It has put, I think, an end to rote learning. And when I entered, I'm a principal of an IB school. I was able to find lots of similarities in the philosophy adopted by IB and in all the principles that were advocated in the NEP. And I was telling my director, I have a feeling that lots of points have been taken from these international educational forums. And I came to know recently from an IB principal that the government schools in Delhi are now going to come under an MOU where the government is entering an agreement with IB. The infrastructure in Delhi schools, most of you are aware, have been improved much better than even some private schools. Therefore, I was told Delhi government is going to implement IB. Next is going to be Maharashtra. Karnataka is going to follow. If this is going to be the case, if we have to survive, we will definitely have to bring in an educational system where every child learns and every child is able to get that enduring learning. It is not, I learn for this semester and I forget it and I don't apply it in real life. And that also brings in the necessity of being a proactive teacher, because a proactive teacher not only gives up, but provides a conscientious effort to provide a classroom environment that allows students to be themselves, learn from mistakes, take risks, understand how to take responsibility for their actions and feelings. A proactive teacher definitely, ensures that there is no reaction. If a child commits a mistake, the teacher does not react. But the teacher handholds the child. The teacher ensures that there is learning happening, whatever be the level of the child. The child is not understanding, so let me go to the child's level. Maintain standards, sets limits, creates a learning environment that is fun, encouraging, and creates a caring and trusting atmosphere. All these things have been highlighted in NEP. All these things are happening in the online classes because parents are watching us. The reason why teachers are all the more alert today is only because all the time parents are supervising what is happening in a classroom, and parents are also aware the teachers have to take more efforts. Teachers today, to plan for an online classroom, have to do almost double work. As Vijay Lakshmi was pointing out, we have to salute all our teachers who are bringing in extra materials than what is available in the textbooks, who are planning a video, showing a video, showing a PPT. It is not a teacher talking all the time in the class anymore. There are a lot of visual support that the teacher is providing, lot of interactions. Of course, it is a little difficult to have interactions in a class of 40. Some schools have 80 students, 70 students, but then teacher is trying all the time. And the teacher is talking to the children through WhatsApp, through so many other media tools. And even the behavioral changes, a proactive teacher does not react. Whenever she encounters behavioral changes happening, she tries to work with the child and ensures that trust is established. For every negative comment or any action from a teacher, mistrust is generated, and a proactive teacher is aware of it. In an online classroom, this trust between the teacher and the student, I feel, is on the increase than what usually used to happen in a closed classroom. And what is more important is there's a value for the student. The teacher also ensures that a learning environment to captivate student interest and attention is generated. And this is happening more in an online classroom. There is a context for the student learning and student empowerment that is created. And I find I'm talking with reference to my school. I have also been listening to various principals from different schools who also have supported my observation. There's a sense of confidence, competence, capability, and self-esteem generated in the minds of students. There is a lot of student empowerment that is happening. NEP wanted a teacher to evolve, and I felt online educational platform has given her additional support to bring in this empowerment. Probably if online classes had not started, we do not know whether every teacher would have taken this kind of effort that she or he is doing to make classes interesting and exciting. I think
That's
I'm
a nice, yeah. That's
Thank
that's a
you for
very,
the opportunity.
very. Thank you, Sita. We thank you, and that's a very powerful statement. The last statement that you made, and yes, I am sure that teachers who are listening to us on YouTube take this message. And now I have the next speaker is Mrs. Neelima Sharma, a person whom I've known for years now, and from the time that she was with the SCRT in Delhi. Then I have met her in CBSE, a very proactive consultant who took a lot of effort. And I interacted with her when we were bringing out the international curriculum. And I had the opportunity to write the content for the English language syllabus. And then, of course, when we were doing ASL, and now she is with Trinity College London as a vice president. Welcome, Neelima Sharma ma'am. And she had told me that she might go in for. She may not be able to be with us because some prior commitment, but I'm happy that at the last minute she confirmed. Thank you for being a part of this panel. And I want to know from you, Neelima ma'am, and for the benefit of the teachers who are watching us, that with your vast experience as a principal consultant with CBSE and now as Vice President Trinity College London, how would you describe the evolution of teacher today? Because you have seen the teacher from so many angles and so many perspectives. So your thoughts on that, please.
I think you're muted.
You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah.
I said, thank you very much for bringing me here. And I'm so happy that I was able to make it. And let me wish all of you, many happy returns of the day for the 75th Independence Day today. And it's a very auspicious day that Sudha and the team has launched its website. So all our good wishes are with you. And whatever support we are required to give, we will be there with you. Now, regarding the journey of a teacher, I have been myself a teacher since 71, and I have been a hardcore teacher. I mean, whatever statuses or designations I have, known for the last so many years, but basically I am a teacher. And what I can vouch for the teachers today, sitting here in this launch, is that really, indeed, the teachers have taken a giant leap in an ocean which is where they are rudderless. They do not know how deep the ocean is. So, metaphorically speaking, I mean, the journey has been really great. And I can remember my days of teaching when it was only a lecture mode. It was only good morning, ma'am, or namaste, ma'am. It was never hello, ma'am, or hi, ma'am. So this was another evolution in the class. And silence and discipline in the classroom was the classroom strategy,
Yeah.
which measured the success of the classroom. There was no teamwork, no collaboration. Teacher would come, lecture, go out. Whether learning is taking place or not taking place, that depended upon the individual teachers. From then onwards, then the evolution or the journey came when we launched the CBSE launch. Balaji was there at that time. The communicative language teaching program, and we were there with the British Council, and we had gone for training. And there, the whole perspective of classroom training, teaching changed. We brought in group work, we brought in noise, disciplined noise, we brought in collaboration, we brought in teamwork through that curriculum. And that was kind of a revolution in the teaching practices of the teachers. That was one phase. We kept on training. Balaji had devised a very beautiful, 5 years program for 10 days each training. And we would go around the country, all over India, train the teachers for 10 days. Now, training evolution was also tremendous. I was in KV initially, and we would, have the KV classrooms. Teachers will be, offered classroom as their resting place. They will live in the classroom. The desk will be removed, and the beds will be laid there, and the teachers would come. The teaching aid was only the blackboard. Then came the green board. And then slowly we started graduating to OHPs. Now imagine, I struggled to remember this word OHP when we used to make the transparencies to give a presentation. And that was such a challenging task to, handle the overhead projector and then, project the image on the wall. Great leap at that time, but it was slow. It was not under pressure. It was just that because the technology was advancing, so the teachers were advancing at that time. And from then onwards, we have the time of the floppies, if you remember now, then the CDs, and then came the power, projector, etc., and the PowerPoint. But the last 2 years of the pandemic has really changed the world. And the overnight turnover of the teachers, and the overnight the teachers have, the way they have worked hard and struggled, it's really commendable. And I really, would like to honor the teachers community. And there have been so many changes as such in this one. So many different inclusions have come in. The students have started becoming autonomous learners. We had been, discussing about autonomy in learning, that it is learners' responsibility to learn. Teachers' responsibility is to teach, but also with technology, it is the learner's responsibility that has been brought. And a new feature we were just discussing today itself that has brought in, and I would like to request the two leaders, school leaders here, that this involvement of the parents in the teaching now, which the students have, brought in, and the parents have been sitting beside the child, whatever age, whatever class, just to monitor, just to see. This should continue through the WhatsApp group or whatever messaging you have been doing, and because that gives a chance to all the parents to be engaged in the learning of the child, and that is making a tremendous difference in the learning of a child. So, I mean, there are no other words to express my, adoration and admiration for the teachers who have taken this kind of leap in the ocean where the learning has taken place. It has not even ceased one day, the learning. So with these words, I'll thank you to all the panelists. I am sure I have not gone beyond my time limit here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neelima ma'am. That was really very well pointed. The whole event, the way you traced it from the days of the OHP to the Google Meet and StreamYard that we are sitting on, and bang on for sharing your thoughts. And yes, we all are proud to be teachers, and I think all of us at heart are teachers. Whatever, well, very well said, that whatever position we may don, but we are all teachers at the end, and we all believe that we are all passionate teachers. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, I have here Alka Rai, and Alka is a passionate teacher too, a passionate teacher trainer. And my meeting, Alka, goes back to the days of ASL, when CBSE launched ASL. Generally, we meet many people at such master training sessions, and then we forget them. We go back when there is work, and then we all get busy. But this was the beginning of our relationship as friends, as collaborators, as two people who share, who discuss, who debate, and share whatever learning we have had. Wherever we go, we come back and tell the other person. So it's been a wonderful journey, and thank you for being there in my life, Alka. And I call her as my friend, guide, and philosopher. Learned a lot of things from her, both from Sita Lakshmi and Alka. The ability to smile in adversity is one thing that I have learned from these two women. Thank you. And Alka, you've been a passionate teacher, educator, who has been training teachers for decades in face-to-face mode. As Neelima ma'am mentioned, we all have traveled to the nook and cranny of this country, and now through webinars. So can we call the teachers of today as proactive teachers?
Thank you so much, Sudha. Thank you for those lovely words. It's been such a pleasure being your associate, knowing you, having you in my life. I think it's made all the difference. Neelima, Sudha, they've all contributed a lot to my development, to my growth. I'm the oldest here, but I think we are always growing and learning. So this learning has been a great process, which began in the year 1970 when I was selected by the MP state government to be a college professor and taught postgraduates for 5 years till I got married and left, and thereafter taught in schools. So this journey of mine, I think somewhere, even though one was not aware of the word proactive, somewhere proactive one was all the time, because one had to adapt to the requirements, one had to change, because you always wanted to make sure that you were coming across to the students, that you were dealing with them, you were making a difference to their learning. And that is somewhere that began. But then, in the last 2 years, with this pandemic and the webinars and technology, one started feeling redundant. Oh my God, I don't know the technology at all. So what am I going to do? And thanks to Mr. Matthews, I think it all fell in place that we could, find our, we can now at least say, okay, I know a bit of technology and I can manage things. So that's been a very, very great achievement as a proactive person on my personal front. But talking about whether our teachers have become proactive, I've been listening to all of you speak. The teachers how they have actually, taken the bull by the horn and, taken on technology. And they are all out to learn. They're all out to make sure that they are nowhere lacking where technology is concerned. In that sense, they are very, very proactive. I was listening to Sita also. And Sita, you made some very good points that what is being proactive? Is it just adapting yourself to technology, or is it something more? Is it something more? And it definitely is something more, because I've been thinking on those lines, and what you said resonated with me so well. That what does a proactive teacher do? We're constantly saying, oh, they don't have to be reactive. Now they've got to be proactive. And somewhere that word reactive has a very negative connotation. I don't know why. Let's remove the negative connotation from that, because even when we become proactive, there will be situations where the teachers will be required to be reactive. So what is it that is required of a proactive teacher? What is she going to do? Not just technology. She has to be there to empower the children that she teaches, who are there with her to learn, because they are so alive, and they get put off when the teacher is not proactive, when she is not ready to listen to them, when she just decides, okay, so and so is just dull and can do nothing. But a proactive teacher is very appreciative. A proactive teacher creates situations where the children become willing learners. And I think that is what proactive would mean to me personally. That she has to create those situations where children love her for the way she is empowering them. She's not giving a lecture and just moving out. She's telling them, she's guiding them, showing them the way to learn. So she has to be the one who creates those situations. She has to be that, hand behind the back. Okay, don't worry, I'm there to be there. I'll hold your hand when it's required, but you are the one who will find your way. And she guides them, like the way we learn cycling as little kids, when the father held on to the carrier, and then gradually, without her knowing, we were left on our own. We realized, okay, we can do it now. And that's what Mr. Matthews is doing with me right now when I do my webinars. So I won't teach you, I won't do spoon feeding for you, ma'am. You'll have to do it yourself. And I get reminded of those days when I learned cycling. So that is what a proactive teacher has to do. So I would say that let a teacher be reactive and proactive. A teacher has to be so proactive. She has to be so well prepared just to foresee the situations. And you, of course, as human beings, you cannot foresee all the situations. There'll be some situations where you have to react immediately. So a proactive teacher is the one who would react positively to those situations as and when they come up. I think that is my take on a teacher being proactive. So have the teachers become proactive? I would say the journey has begun. And that is something so encouraging, so motivating. The journey has begun. Look at it across the country. There are areas, and more of them, where teachers have not got any of these advantages. Perhaps they haven't heard the word proactive. So somewhere I think it becomes incumbent on the part of people who understand what is being proactive, what proactive means, to handhold those teachers, take them onto that path of becoming proactive, so that their learners have a very, very positive, reactive teacher who is proactively prepared to deal with everything that happens in the classroom. So I don't think I'm going to speak much. That's all that I have to say. That's my take on it. And thank you all so much. It's been such a pleasure to be on this platform and on this launch. I wish Teacher Vijay all the best. And Sudha and Leena, great job done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alka, and thank you for the wonderful one-liners that you spoke. And now, sir, we have with us esteemed GB sir, as he is very, very lovingly called by teachers across. And you know what? I have just one anecdote which I'll share and then leave the floor to him. When I was the vice principal of APJ School, Pitampura, we did an English language session, 3-day session, and Sadhana Bashar was there. And the first question when I started contacting schools and telling them that we are going to be hosting this program, the question that people wanted to know is who is going to be at the valedictory function. So I had requested Sadhana Parashar to bring GB sir. And, till 3 days before she couldn't confirm whether GB sir would be there, but she said, I've told him and he'll make it. The moment the name GB sir was uttered and it was communicated to the schools in the vicinity, the number of registrations for the program increased by fourfold, and we had difficulty in accommodating the participants. This was because he was going to be there at the valedictory function, giving away the certificates. I think that speaks it all for our GB sir. The one term that I heard for the first time, and I have no shame in admitting, neuroplasticity. I heard him speak about it in one of the conferences in Chennai. And that's when I then came back, looked, read more about it. So GB sir, as the director academics, I've seen circulars signed by him, lighten the weight of the school bag. Sir, 1995, I have read that circular that you had sent to schools, right? Comprehensive evaluation. So I can go on and on, sir. Thank you very much for being there. And we have come and picked your brains in the Chennai office, Sita Lakshmi, myself, and Leena, and spoken to you. Thank you for being there and thank you for encouraging us. The floor is yours, sir.
Mute.
Sir, you're muted.
Thank you. And I think you have given the floor without a question. And I think that makes me more difficult to speak. At the outset, I would like to send my greetings to all of you on the 75th Independence Day functions. I think it's a very proud moment. And I think the Success Mantra has chosen the right day for launch of the program, for the Teacher Maji, for the benefit of the teachers. While I was looking about the 75th celebration, it was said to be what you call Amrit Divas, right? The word Amrit. In education, we say Amritam tu Vidya, right? Mean education is a nectar, right? And therefore, I think we fit in really that we talk about the Amrit of life, that is education. A lot of ideas have been floated in this meeting, and I've been listening very patiently and quietly to people, variety of ideas and variety of perceptions. And I think that's what we need to celebrate, sometime audit what we have done, our thought process, our thought architectures, what we have done, whether it was right or wrong. But remember one thing, that education in most countries is a socially audited subject. It is not the whim of the teacher, the whim of the educators, or the desire of the educators what to do. That alone matters, but also including the educational administrators. But you have a policy that controls them, a policy that really moderates them. And as a teacher who has been in the field for last 50 years, because I became a teacher in 1971, right? And now for the 50 years, I remember the day that when I started introducing technology in the year 1979, I started with a computer which was having a memory of 128 KB and running a multiplication table for a student of class 11 and 12 was something which we used to pat our back. And we have gone a long way with the technology that today my KG children probably know much better. And though I had the audacity of writing the first book in computers in 1981, when my grandson says, Grandpa, you don't know anything about computers, I very politely and in all humility acknowledge that. That's the way education operates over there. What are the compulsions that we have had in our Indian education? That Indian education has always been, dominated by what you call a competitive spirit. In other words, preparing the children for a life, preparing the children for an examination, preparing the children for the competitive examination. In that process, unfortunately, neither the heads of institutions nor the teachers rather had an option to teach the way they want, right? So they were all, and more or less like, we are born free, but we are always in shackles, and that's how we were. Thanks to the last 2 years, I must not say thanks to COVID because it will be inappropriate. But we, I used to give a comparison like the drummers of Manipur, where, if you have seen them with the drum running, dancing around. My teachers have been dancing around like the drums, one side being beaten by the COVID, the other side being beaten by the NEP, right? And I must, like every one of you, salute the teaching community that probably they responded very adequately, quite meaningfully and purposefully in a very, very short time. And I think that is the truth of a good teacher. That's the spirit of a good teacher. Probably they were all waiting for that single opportunity to come to unleash their potential. And I think because the system itself could not control the teacher, and therefore they broke open the system. And I think everything got into place, and my teachers, really are opening up. And if you look at the whole scenario, as many of you pointed out, the national education policy has brought a very, a paradigm shift in the very thought architecture. What is the difference between this policy and the earlier policies over, what we have seen? Because I have been right from the Kothari Commission report of 68, 70. I worked with them. I've been a part of the policy of earlier times over there. What is the single focus which gravitates me in this policy is that this policy brings a paradigm shift from learning to learnability. I think that's a very, very important dimension. That this policy acknowledges the learnability of my learner. In other words, it opens up the gates for the learner, not necessarily to learn what is being taught, but what he is, interested to learn. And therefore, they talk about backless learning, they talk about competency-based learning, they talk about experiential learning. You call any terms. Learning is in one umbrella under which you can put all kinds of terms that you want, right? So to me, one of the major factors that seems to be, impacting is that when you and I were students about decades back, probably formal learning was quite dominant as compared to the informal learning. We were all, given even by parents were, telling us to go back to the school and learn over there. But today, with technology being available, informal learning is dominating the learning process. So that 70% of the learning of our children is through, all kinds of technology, media, and name any inputs over there. So my child doesn't come to the classroom with a blank slate of mind. And therefore, the teacher has got to be a prepared teacher. A teacher has got to be a conscious teacher. A teacher cannot walk into a classroom as happened in a classical classroom. Where did I stop last class? And you can't ask that question anymore. You can't go and say, ask the children, whether I should teach poetry today or grammar today or is a composition class. Sorry, that doesn't happen today. The way you articulated a lesson plan will not be valid today because we are traveling far ahead of Bloom's taxonomy at this point of time with multi-layer learning, multipolar learning. So, two important things by teachers, proactive teachers or any other nomenclature, what you would like to put across, but is that they have got to be both current as well as competent. They have got to be learners every day. That's a problem because we are not only in the knowledge society today, but we are facing a very important challenge that the knowledge dynamics is so fast that, every 6 weeks, knowledge is becoming redundant. I am more concerned with irrelevance of knowledge rather than the relevance of knowledge because all that you have learned becomes irrelevant in a short period of time. So we need children who will think, who will be able to apply and construct new knowledge. And therefore, that becomes the role of the teacher. I was very happy Alkaji was talking about, the new definition of the proactive teacher and also reactive teacher. That's a very good synergy over there because that gives you an emotional connect with the children, in a better manner. Whether you are teaching in a state board school, whether you are teaching in a what do you call it, CBSE school or ICSE school or an IB school, I think it doesn't matter, right? Because the whole thing is knowledge has to be celebrated wherever you are. And in celebrating that knowledge, the role of the teacher is very important. And now, two important factors come. One, the teacher is becoming a co-learner, because 90% of what the teachers are going to teach is probably not known to them, and probably they have to learn along with the children. And therefore, we need not be ashamed that we don't know. We learn, come back, and therefore collaborative learning, peer learning. We need to consider our children as our peers in learning, and therefore co-construction of knowledge is going to be the part of the game for the learners of the future. Second factor that what we are going to have is that the teacher has got to be anticipative teacher, because the kind of questions the children are going to ask, you really don't know. And a research-oriented teacher, if you look into the national education policy, I was very happy that the focus on the research that's given in the children. Just this morning, I was participating as a chief guest in the Independence Day celebration of a school in Delhi, and I was absolutely, thrilled by a kind of a research report these children presented during the occasion, students of class 9. I think that is the spirit that we want. We have to acknowledge the competencies of the children. We cannot say, adopt the ivory tower approach that I know and the knowledge flows from me. No, it will not matter anymore. Another important point what I want to say was that knowledge is now not restricted to disciplines. I think we are breaking the barriers of discipline. Whether I'm learning English, I'm learning Hindi, or I'm learning mathematics. Now, knowledge is becoming interdisciplinary. Knowledge is becoming what you call multidisciplinary, and therefore you've got to open up your mind. Therefore, your classroom has got to be a thinking classroom. The teachers cannot say, "I'm a math teacher, I can't teach physics." Or I have seen very interesting episodes where a chapter on energy in class 9, a physics teacher says first paragraph is mine, a chemistry teacher says para 2 is mine, and the biology teacher says para 3 is mine. And they don't understand that energy is a running concept. And that's a problem today, the paradigm shift in the thinking process. The kind of technology that we are going to get in future, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and possibly quantum computing knocking at our doors, is absolutely going to make all your learning and teaching process absolutely different. The focus of the future, whether for the teacher or for the child, is going to be self-learning, peer learning. And I think we cannot say that teaching is any more valid. I go back to what Aurobindo used to say, that the first true principle of teaching is that nothing can be taught. I think that's getting validated at this point of time, that neither a teacher nor a school can become the deliverers of knowledge. They are going to be only platforms where they promote knowledge. And I think that context, the teacher Maggie, as well as Maggie, and your success mantra are going to be very, very relevant, because children, teachers, both of them are going to seek knowledge not from the portals of the schools only, but they are going to open up for knowledge anywhere it's available. I would normally say, use a word called Amazonization of learning. That's the future, right? People will access knowledge wherever it's available. Anytime, anywhere learning is going to be the focus, and home learning is going to be the focus. And therefore, I wish the success mantra and the teacher Maggie a very, very bright future. And I'm sure we have had the opportunity of listening to great teachers, and I think the future is very safe in the hands of such teachers who lead the transformation. What we go through today is not a change. Please remember that there is a difference between change and transformation. Change is always a surface activity. Transformation is an organic activity. And what's happening in education is an organic change and not a mere surface change. So I wish you all the best on this day. Thank you for the platform that you are giving.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful thoughts that you shared. And a teacher has to be a conscious teacher, thinking teacher becoming a co-learner, a research-oriented teacher. And I'm sure all the people on this platform who are watching us all talk would have benefited from the wonderful words of all the panelists, each one bringing in their thoughts, and somewhere everybody actually finally coming together and saying that we all need to be teachers who become co-learners in the process. It is not from an ivory tower, and I think all of you panelists will agree with me on that. Thank you once again for being there and on this great Independence Day. And now, with the permission of all the panelists, I'm going to be sharing the screen and taking you people through the website that we have created, a very small effort, and a video which is actually it's from one of the very senior teachers whom I've known for now 15, 20 years, Mrs. Nirmala Krishnaswamy, the ex-principal of Vanavani School. And one of her anecdotes we converted into an animation video, which is going to be on our YouTube channel. So with your permission, all the revered panelists here, please be with us for a few more minutes for us to share the screen. So as you can all see, this is our website. It's called the Teacher Magi. So we have something here. Before showing you the whole 9 yards, let me show you the stories of classrooms. So here we have stories. So this is again a message to all the teachers watching the program, that you can share your stories onto our website, and we would be more than happy to present them. So we have stories. This is Dr. Saraswati's little animation that we got created. And if you all remember, in Times of India, at some point, there used to be a column called Grammar Guru. And Dr. Saraswati is the person who used to write this column. And, in a very humorous way, so many of difficult grammar concepts she used to talk about. So if you go and click here, you can read these stories. These stories have been written, as I said, by some of them by Dr. Saraswati, some by Dr. Nirmala Krishnaswamy, and I have put in a few stories as well. So anybody and everybody is welcome to share their classroom anecdotes, their stories through this platform. And the idea is to give all of us, that space and that feeling that, yes, there are so many teachers in this world, and everybody faces challenges, and it is okay. And we all emerge, ultimately, we all emerge successful. So the stories, in that sense, are a place which basically the stories are motivating. So you can also put in your stories out there. You can send it to us. So our website is, as you can see, teachermagi.com. And so it's a one-stop solution to teacher training programs. Who are Teacher Magi? Teaching is regarded as the noblest profession. The aspiration of every teacher is to love her students and in turn be loved by them. Like the Magi who brought gifts to the divine child, Jesus, the teacher brings the gift of knowledge to her student. So what is the goal? The process of learning to teach can be arduous. Lawyers undergo apprenticeship. Doctors have to train as interns. Unfortunately, teachers have no such training program. They have to learn through trial and error. Observing the classes of great teachers would be a wonderful opportunity of learning. But this is not the done thing in our system. Teacher Magi's goal is simple: teacher empowerment. This is for teachers by teachers initiative. So we provide a range of services. And So some of the programs that Teacher Magi is planning to do as of now through the webinar mode, but we are also open to visiting the school at some point if schools want us to. So you can see the list of, and we also do customized programs for schools. These are some of the programs that we do, but you can always approach us and we are there to handhold you in any topic that you want to. Even mentoring, we do teacher mentoring programs. I have recently been certified as a teacher mentor by Tata Institute of Social Sciences. I did a program and I'm a certified mentor for, so we do mentoring sessions as well. So, what are the other services? Video-based learning modules. This is what we are working on, and soon you would see that on our website. Mentoring workshops and webinars on request, and advice on academic aspects of setting up a school and curriculum planning. And who are the masterminds? We have Dr. V. Saraswati, whose 80th birthday we celebrated last year. She is really a source of inspiration for us. And myself, then we have Vijay Lakshmi, and we have Dr. Sita Lakshmi Vishwanath. She has authored many books, Dr. Saras. And when we, when she talks, time just flies, and it's wonderful experience listening to her. These all of us have been involved at various stages. We have taken inputs. We have all done a lot of brainstorming, a lot of discussion on how we should, go about this whole thing. And it's been a labor of love for the past 1+ year. And the various discussion sessions with Sita Lakshmi and Vijay Lakshmi. And finally, we were ready to launch. And as I said, it was after attending sessions on Mr. Matthew's platform, and with his help that we felt we had the we had the courage and to come out with our offerings. So you can even go to our YouTube channel through this itself. And if I take you back, so now I would like to play a video for the benefit of, and to see how we conceptualize the whole idea after talking to all these people. just taking on.
Good morning, students. Akash, Rohan, and Vijay. Can the three of you please step forward? I'm here to announce with great pleasure that the three boys have volunteered to clean up the boys' bathroom after yesterday's mishap. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you.
So that is the little animation and a little bit about us that we shared with all of you. So at and just this is her own personal experience that she shared with us. So, like this, we have collected stories from teachers. As I said, they have all been practicing teachers. The whole idea is to bring that sense of, pride, to instill that sense of pride. The beautiful combination, a teacher today has to become a wonderful combination of tradition and modernity, rooted in tradition, but having the wings and the capability to fly, use technology, and the becoming a co-learner, shedding the ego, becoming a partner in the process of teaching learning. And that is what our purpose is. And I request all the teachers who have been watching this program to get in touch with us. In the comment section, I will put my phone number towards the end. But before that, I would like to thank,
Lady Sudha.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा
Can you all hear me?
Are we done, Sudha?
Yeah. Can you all
Can we
hear
keep-
me? Can you all
yeah,
hear
no,
me?
we couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were just waiting. Can we leave?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you, Didi, sir.
Alka, Nilima, all of you, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Nilima. Thank you,
Nice
Arka.
meeting you all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
nice to see
Thank
so
you.
many people from
Thank you,
different parts of the
everyone. God
Yeah,
bless.
thank you,
Bye,
Arka.
bye, bye,
And
bye.
all the best, Sudha and Leena, for this venture of yours. God
Thank
bless
you.
you all. God
Thank
bless you all. Yeah. Now, how do I leave?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sita.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sita. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew. My camera has.
Thank you, Leena.
Thanks a lot, Sita. See you soon.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
End the broadcast, he says.
Yeah.
Somebody